This is only my second time in Salt Lake City. I had never even visited here before when in 2023, I believe it was in December, I played a show at Kilby Court. I remember that night specifically because the town was completely covered in fog. It was the spookiest night. But it ended up being one of my favorite shows I had ever played. So I'm glad I'm finally back. I'm sorry it took me a little bit to come back. Been a little busy, but I'm glad to be here. This is, I believe, the first week of a near 7-week-long tour of the U.S. and Canada. And I just got back from a 6-week run of shows in Europe. So it's been a lot. But I've been enjoying playing these songs. I'm going to be playing a lot of new songs tonight from an album of mine called I'll Be Waiting As You Drive Away. I'm going to get right into it and start with one of those new songs. It's a song of mine called Smoked. The story behind this one is I wrote it inspired by the prog rock bands I was listening to in high school. Bands like Genesis, King Crimson, Yes, all of that stuff. I had no friends. Well, I was homeschooled. I never really had a choice, but that's why I listened to prog rock. But this song is my attempt at capturing that kind of sound. It's just going to be me on the guitar, so I just ask you to imagine the mellotrons and bass and wizards and stuff. And just fill in the blanks. But I'm going to grab my guitar and play it. This is a song called Smoked. I'll talk to y'all after the song. Thank y'all. Supposed to turn off. Thank you all so much. I don't know how many people in this room have ever had to restring a 12-string guitar, but 2 days ago while on this run, I needed to change the strings because I still had the same strings on it that I had done the entire European tour with, And when strings get bad, on the 12 string specifically, your hands start to smell like old pennies. It's a really gross smell. And I decided to change the strings in the hotel room on the 12 string, and I had the bright idea to call American Airlines to try to get a refund for a flight. I was on the phone for an hour with American Airlines while restringing a 12 string. And I likened it to getting an ingrown toenail removed while staring directly into the sun. It broke me in a lot of ways. I almost left it at the hotel and just gave up on it. So that song I just played, I told y'all it was inspired by the prog rock bands I listened to in high school. After the album came out, I realized it was possibly a little too inspired by the prog rock bands I listened to in high school, because I realized there's a little 5-second part in the song that I accidentally ripped off from a Genesis song. Something that had happened when I was over in the UK, I played a festival called End of the Road. I had never heard of this festival before. It was something my booking agents had put together, and the itinerary just said, End of the Road Festival, you play the garden stage at 12 p.m. And I just assumed the garden stage meant it's like a little side stage where like the hungover people are laid out and you just play for like 50 people. I showed up and I didn't realize it was playing to like 3,000 or 4,000 people, which was terrifying. And you didn't even have a normal sound check, you just had a 10-minute line check, which means you just plug in your stuff and make sure it makes sound. And then you have 10 minutes. So I set up my gear, walked backstage, and I looked at my wife and I said, I need a beer and fast. So I took the beer, shotgunned it, played the set, and it was pretty incredible. It was one of the most wild things I've ever done. I've never played to that many people before. But after my set, this older gentleman came up to me and he said, hey, I wanted to let you know that I loved your set, and I'm really good friends with Mike Rutherford of the band Genesis. And I said, that's awesome. I said, I'm a little worried though, because that song Smoked I played slightly rips off the Genesis song Entangled. And he looked at me and said, I know. So if that song disappears from streaming services in the next few weeks, that's why. I'm just kidding, I don't think they're going to sue me for it. It's literally just like a little 5-second measure. The whole song is not a rip-off of the Genesis song, but I think it's okay to rip off things a little bit. Just a little bit, you know. I'm going to play y'all another new song. It's a song of mine called Long Pond Lily. It's the opening track to this new record, I'll Be Waiting As You Drive Away. And it's one of the most challenging pieces I've ever written in terms of playing it live. The first time I ever played it live was a complete train wreck. A total disaster. Some of y'all may know that I used to struggle pretty severely with stage fright. It's what kept me from playing live for a very long time. I only started playing live in the touring capacity in 2023, and it took me a lot of time to get over the stage fright and the nerves because I have very bad shaking hands. But last year, I played this piece for the very first time at a small show in Oklahoma City where I live, and it was primarily a little show. Mainly the audience was just friends, so I could test out new material. But I underestimated muscle memory, you know, playing a song enough live. Your hands learn how to do it. My hands did not know how to play it live yet, and it was a shaking disaster. Afterwards, everyone's face looked disappointed, like, that was the song? But I don't learn my lesson, and I've kept playing this song live over and over and over until now I have it at a point where I feel comfortable playing it. But this piece, the idea behind it was I wanted to write a song that sounded like if John Fahey played on a Led Zeppelin record. That was the idea. I don't know if it sounds like that. But I'm going to get right into it. This is a song called Long Pond Lily. Wish me luck. Thank you so much. Last night at the show, there was a guy who came up to me afterwards and said, "Can I give you a friendly piece of advice?" That always scares me when people say that. It's never friendly. I'm just kidding. But he said that song on Pomelo you played, he was like, "I feel like the song ends too early. Like it needs to go a little longer." He said, because at the end, it gets fast, and I feel like people are really getting into it, and then it abruptly cuts off. And I told him, I said, well, it's kind of by design. I view the end of that song as the truck is speeding along, and then you smash into a wall, and it's over. There's something that's supposed to be disruptive about it. I'm not trying to defend the song. I guess I kind of am. I shouldn't bring my baggage to it all. I'm going to take things back and play an older tune for y'all. It's a song of mine called Elsewhere. But the way I've been playing it live for the past 2 years is been combining it with my favorite film theme of all time. The theme to the movie Brokeback Mountain is one of my favorite pieces of music ever written. And the reason why I like this song so much is the pauses in it are excruciating. They're really uncomfortable. And obviously this is a very quiet room, and there's already an air of discomfort when things are this quiet. So I would like to make it worse. But the thing I like about the pauses is, the only time we ever really experience many, moments of silence together in a large group is when something bad has happened. I like to think of this song with the pauses. It's kind of a small moment of silence when something good has happened. Like all of us gathering here to listen to some music and be together. And I just view that as a really good thing. So when I take the pauses, just try to soak it in, I guess. So I'm going to play the theme to Brokeback Mountain and my song, Elsewhere. Thank you.
Nick.
Thank you all so very much. Now comes the time of the show at the halfway mark where I ask the audience if they have any questions. And the way this works is you can just raise your hand and ask me a question, and I'll answer it. Does anyone have any questions? And if I can't see your hand, you can just yell out a question and I'll answer it.
How's it been working with Chatpile?
How has it been working with the band Chatpile?
Yeah.
It's been great. For those who don't know, I just did a collaborative record with this sludge rock band called Chatpile. I know it doesn't sound like that makes sense, judging off my music, but yeah, we made a record that comes out this Friday. I worked with them because I moved to Oklahoma City last year, and they ended up kind of being my neighbors, so I made an album with them. But they're very nice people. Very, very nice people. Any other questions? Yes, you.
It's kind of a two-part. Would you consider Brokeback Mountain one of your favorite movies? And what are some of your favorite movies?
I mean, I think it's a great film. I mean, I only have like 5 movies I would consider my favorite. And I would say today I was actually talking with my wife and Jen's in the car about what is my favorite movie of all time. And I said that I think my favorite movie of all time is American Graffiti. And that might be kind of a weird pick, but if you haven't seen the movie American Graffiti, I highly recommend you watch it. And if you haven't seen it in a long time, watch that movie again. But American Graffiti, Paris, Texas, The Straight Story, that's another movie. David Lynch directed that. And it's a Disney movie, which is strange. And then the movie Tender Mercies with Robert Duvall. Those are, I think, what I think are my top movies. And you said you had a second part to the question? Or that was both parts? Oh, okay, cool. Any other questions? Yes, you. Do I have a tattoo? No, I don't have any tattoos. I'm too scared of them. I feel like I would change my mind after getting one. Or, I was talking the other day with someone that if I were to get a tattoo, it would just say, "Tell them Groucho sent ya." That's the only tattoo I might get. Yes, you were there. How long have I been playing guitar? I started playing when I was 11 or 12 years old. I was obsessed with this guitar player, Stevie Ray Vaughan. I was obsessed with him. And I started taking guitar lessons, and about a year in, I had the harsh realization that I couldn't shred. My fretting hand was just not fast enough. I don't know how to explain what it's like to feel washed up at 12. But I felt like my career in guitar playing was over. Like, I couldn't shred. But I ended up finding this guitar player named Ry Cooder. He was a slide guitar player, and I started playing with the slide. And when I used the slide, I realized, I don't have to shred anymore. And I started using my picking hand more. And then I found a guy named John Fahey, and that's really when I dove into the picking. So I started at 12, retired at 12, and then had a second life as a different kind of guitar player at 14 forward, let's say. I can do 2 more questions if y'all got them. Oh, and again, I might not be able to see over the light, so you can just yell it out.
Oh, yeah. When did your relationship with corpse paint start?
Oh, my relationship with corpse paint. So, for those who don't know, corpse paint is a type of face paint that's used primarily in black metal music. I don't really have a relationship with corpse paint. I took one photo wearing corpse paint in Lubbock, Texas, standing in front of a semi-truck. And it was done as a joke. It was just a goofy photo I did with a friend. And then later, I sent it to my friend who's a painter, and I asked him if he could paint that photo. And that photo turned painting became the album cover to my record, Letting Go. But I don't have a relationship with corpse paint. I don't go out to the grocery store just wearing it. That's the only time I've really worn it, was that one time. Sorry if that let me down. Yes, you right there.
Are you gonna run for any more government offices?
Will I run for any more government offices? No. Yeah, I ran for city council in my hometown in 2019. I was around 24 or 25 when I did that. It was a very rough experience. Amarillo, Texas is a very strange place because it's a town of about 220,000. But what's odd about it is there's a mayor and 4 city council members, but the city is represented at large. It's not done by district, which for a city of Amarillo size is pretty unheard of. That's not really a common thing. And I ran a no donation campaign, and my main platform was moving the council seats to district and adding 2 more seats. But come to find out, there's a reason they like representing without districts, and they weren't very happy about me running. I was actually telling Jens the other day that there was a PAC representing the incumbents I was running against, and they sent out a mailer that had my face on it with a red X through it, and it said "not recommended." It was hard to live that one down. But no, I don't think I'll ever run for public office again. I think I'm too fragile for that world. Sometimes good intentions aren't enough to run for office. You have to, I don't know, have something a little wrong with you. No, I'm just kidding. There's a bunch of great city council members I know that have really good intentions, but there's a lot of people in that world, even on the low level, that don't have the best of intentions. Now I have a question for all of you. For this next song, would y'all like to hear a pretty song or an ugly song? Ugly? Okay, I can do that. I've been playing some pretty songs. Need to dirty it up a bit. This next song is a song of mine called Rains Like Hell. I wrote this song as kind of an audio representation of where I'm from, the Texas Panhandle. It's a very flat, dry, windy, and some would say ugly place. But I think it's quite beautiful. The flatness and the wind obviously have inspired my music a lot. That's where the space comes from. Space represents the flat landscape, and I'm always trying to capture the wind, the restlessness of it, because it never stops blowing. I think Amarillo's the second or third windiest city in America, I heard. I don't know who's number 1. So I'm going to play it for y'all. When I play it, I'm going to try to take y'all to Amarillo, Texas. And for that, I would like to apologize. This is Rained Like Hell. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have been so very kind. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I just want to say a huge thanks to Jens Cross for opening up the show. Please give Jens a round of applause. It has been such a treat having him on this run of shows with me. I know he told the story, but he opened for me at the end of 2023 in the basement of a Shriner Lodge in Boise, Idaho. And I never heard of him before that show. I watched his set and it absolutely blew me away, and it kind of just began this whole journey with this record that he has out here called Cricket Songs. I was incredibly honored to get the chance to work on that album with him, kind of co-producing it. I wrote the liner notes to it. And what I ask y'all is, if you only have enough money to buy one record after the show, skip my record and buy his one record he has. That album truly changed my life, and it's a total lighthouse record. It's the little blip of light in the darkness when you need some guidance, and it was that way for me. So thanks, Jens, for opening up the show. I appreciate you. So I believe I have time to play 2 more songs for y'all. It's not like I'm trying to rush out of here. My songs just tend to be longer than most. This next song is about 2.5 hours long. If I get started now, I can get us out of here before midnight. I'm just joking with y'all. This song, it's a song of mine called The Happiest Times I Ever Ignored. Comes from a guy named Doug Kinney. He was the co-founder of National Lampoon magazine. And I wrote the song as kind of a tribute to him. The tuning that I use on the song actually comes from Joni Mitchell. There was a period of time where I was struggling to write a song to fill out an album I was working on that ended up being titled The Happiest Times Ever Ignored. I was struggling to find new ideas. By chance, I stumbled across this website that had all of the open tunings of Joni Mitchell, and I found this tuning on that website and wrote this song. I'm gonna tune to it really quick, and then I'll show it to y'all. I told someone the other day that open tuning a guitar in silence in front of a crowd of people, the only thing I can compare it to, the way it feels, is like when you say goodbye to someone and they say bye to you, and then you'll both walk the same direction. It's that level of uncomfortable for me. But someone told me the other day at a show, they said, you don't have to apologize for tuning. She said, we have a saying that you tune because you care. And I love that idea because it's uncomfortable tuning, but you do it ultimately because you care for the audience. I don't want to subject y'all to an out-of-tune guitar because it's not fun for y'all, and it's especially not fun for me. Okay, I got it. This open tuning, I'll show it to y'all before I play the song. I think it's the most beautiful open tuning I've ever heard. Thanks, Joni Mitchell. Okay, well, I have one last song for y'all. It's the song I like to end all my shows with. It's a song of mine called I'll Be Waiting As You Drive Away. That title comes from an episode of the TV show Little House on the Prairie. I watched a lot of that as a kid. I was homeschooled, so I felt like that's some context. But Little House on the Prairie is actually a pretty strange show. I recommend, if y'all haven't seen it, to go watch it. If you have seen it in the past, give it a watch again. The episode it comes from is a two-parter episode that came out in 1978. For those who don't know what the show's about, it's set in like the Western times, and the Ingalls family, their oldest daughter Mary, slowly begins to lose her eyesight and ultimately goes completely blind. So her family sends her to a special school for the blind to stay over. And over the course of the two-parter episode, Mary falls in love with this young teacher at the school who's also blind. And at the end of the two-parter episode, in very soap opera melodramatic fashion, Mary has to go back home to be with her family. And at the end, her and the guy she's fallen in love with, they're saying goodbye to each other as the family's waiting there in the covered wagon. It's like very dramatic. But with tears in their eyes, he tells her, "I'll be waiting as you drive away," because they can't see each other. And every time I see the ending, it always just completely hits me like a truck. There's something so sweet about that sentiment of "I'll be waiting as you drive away." And I titled that song as, I guess kind of my version of Happy Trails. When I play it live, it's my way of saying, I'll be waiting as you'll drive away, as you'll go out in the world. I hope things go well for y'all, and I wish y'all nothing but the best. But I would like to end with this song. And once again, I want to thank you all for being such a kind and sweet audience to me. This is only my second time in Salt Lake City, and both times I've been here have been very, very special. So I thank you all so much for y'all's kindness. I appreciate it. Also, this song has a very high chance of breaking a string because of this tuning. So if the string snaps, that song I just played was my last song. Okay, I got it. Thank you all.
See y'all later.